Following Tuesday's live stream where we went over the Evans repeater as well as played a round of the new free roam event Fool's Gold, I came across this tweet from Rockstar kind of giving us an idea about the future of Red Dead Online as it quote-unquote evolves past the beta. They're going to continue to keep adding and improving features to give us a deeper connection to the world, our character, horse, weapons, as well as adding new gameplay that will help players carve out their own fate across the lawless frontier. So I kind of, sort of, maybe have talked about this in a few other videos, rants, but I wanted to compile a list of 10 things that I think would greatly improve Red Dead Online. And if there's something that I miss or that you would like to add to, feel free and leave that below in the comment section. Now before we get started, I just want to say that I generally, as a fan of Rockstar and Red Dead Redemption 2 as well as Red Dead Online, I want this online mode to succeed. I see potential in it, maybe not as big as Grand Theft Auto Online, but at the same time, I do believe that if Rockstar actually listens to our feedback, and hopefully they keep talking about how they're listening to our feedback and they encourage us to keep sending them feedback, hopefully our feedback is actually making some sort of difference when it comes to how Red Dead Online is going to be. Now, unfortunately, with last week's update 1.06, there was a lot of things that were implemented that we didn't exactly like, which some of that we will go over in my list. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about that needs to change in Red Dead Online going forward is multiple lobbies. You can go to any Rockstar tweet regarding Red Dead Online, and this is one of the top things that people ask for. And I'm sure this has also been one of the top things that people have left feedback for at Rockstar's feedback page for Red Dead Online. We need multiple lobbies. And it seems like Rockstar goes out of their way to try to make us all happy in the same lobby. They've in fact beefed up their lobbies from 32 to 40 plus players. Usually about upper 40s, I think 48. Maybe they've made it all the way to twice the size where they could have up to 64 players. I don't know the limit exactly, but I do know thanks to this past update 1.06, there are even more players now in these lobbies. But we need multiple lobby types because all these tweaks are not going to make the community happy, especially since there's always ways to grief other players. But there's other things to consider as well. A lot of players want to be in lobbies where it's a little bit more challenging, where they can do free aim instead of auto aim. They also want friend lobbies, invite lobbies, posse lobbies, similar to the lobbies in Grand Theft Auto Online. And yes, I will be doing comparisons between Grand Theft Auto Online and Red Dead Online. I make no apology about that because they're both made and built by Rockstar Games. And obviously Rockstar has ported in a lot of things from Grand Theft Auto Online to implement in Red Dead Online. All right, so the next thing that I would like to see changed, replaced, is the bounty system, which I did rant about a few days ago. Now, the current bounty system is not working. It's punishing everybody. Good players, bad players, griefers, players that are just defending themselves, players that are simply wanting to shoot NPCs, whether it's law enforcement or create some sort of mayhem in Tumbleweed or Blackwater or Saint Denis. We're all getting price tags on our head. And this is not the solution. I don't have a problem with there being a bounty system, but I'm surprised with everything that Rockstar is porting over from Grand Theft Auto Online to Red Dead Online that they didn't just use the bounty system over there, which, by the way, is very similar to the bounty system that was in Red Dead Redemption multiplayer. What I'm talking about is very similar to what I went over at the end of the rant video, is simply go to the interaction menu for a player that's griefing you, go to players, hover over the player that's griefing you, that's been killing you over and over again, and set a bounty on them. Whether it's $10, $25, $50, whatever Rockstar wants to do bounty-wise, and there, they automatically get a bounty. And there's a target that appears on the map wherever they happen to go. Players are encouraged to go after that target. Whoever kills the bounty gets a cut of that money in their pocket. Not into bounty hunters' pockets, NPCs, but into other players. Very similar to Grand Theft Auto Online, anyone that has a bounty has to survive with that bounty for 48 minutes without being killed in order to claim the bounty for themselves. Now, I would like to see kind of a freeze of the bounty clock if they happen to be doing a mission or a race or just chilling inside their camp, AFK, for that 48 minutes, so that there's ways that they cannot get around having to survive the 48 minutes and just claim that, $10, $20, or $50 for their own. I like the idea of encouraging other players to go after bounties, and at the same time, a player that issues a bounty should have a cooldown period. And obviously that money would come out of your pocket. If I was griefing you and you put a bounty on me, that $10, that $25, that $50 would come out of your pocket. But it would also mean that you couldn't simply just go around putting a bounty on everybody in the lobby. Well, at least for maybe like a cooldown period of 2 to 5 minutes, because some people will abuse the bounty system just like they originally did in Grand Theft Auto Online. Most of the time now, people really don't care, but there should be a cooldown period, and I think that would probably help a little bit. That way, if you're going to put a bounty on somebody, they're obviously going to know who was the bounty. Like, so-and-so put a bounty on you, so they know that it was you that put a bounty on them, which could make you more of a target, but at the same time, may actually encourage some players in the lobby to come and help you out in order to deal with that griefer. Now, best case scenario, they simply just jump away to a different lobby. They still have the bounty on their head. At least they're not bothering you anymore. Whether you agree or disagree with my suggestion for a different bounty system, what we currently have, the one we have right now sucks. I think most people will agree about that. All right, so the third thing I think that they should do is build in a passive mode for both browsing the catalog as well as fishing. Now, apparently, you're going to be able to go into passive mode during the fishing challenges, which is coming, I don't know when, maybe next week or a week from now or whatever, whenever Rockstar decides to drip feed that into Reddit Online in a future event week. But I want to be able to go into passive mode just fishing, just for the sake of fishing, whether it's at the bayou, on the edge of a river or a lake. Just let us all have the ability to go into passive mode when we're fishing. Anglers are not harming anybody. They're just trying to catch some fish. So another way to protect the fishers in Red Dead Online is to allow all fishers to automatically go into passive mode whenever they pull out that rod and they start fishing. Another reason why I want passive mode to also be included for the catalog is because when you're distracted and you're looking down at the catalog trying to purchase something, whether it's more ammo or food or horse revive or whatever you want to get out of the catalog instead of going to a store, you're vulnerable as well. And it makes no sense that you go into passive mode at a store when you're purchasing something, but you're technically still purchasing something through the catalog, and yet you're sitting there out in the middle of nowhere where someone could easily come up and kill you, grief you, while you're just trying to, buy a can or a couple cans of food. That's another thing I think that should be put into automatic passive mode along with fishing. The fourth change I want to see to Red Dead Online in free roam is tweaking spawn and respawn. Now, one thing I have noticed, and maybe it's not as big of a problem as it was before 1.06, or maybe it's still there, is almost any time I would log in to a lobby in Red Dead Online, I would spawn not too far away from other players. Sometimes I would spawn like several feet away from another posse, and before I had a chance to even get away, they killed me. So I think that the system in place should be the opposite of what it is, whereas whenever you spawn into a new lobby, it should say, okay, well, wherever the players are, let's try and spawn you as far away from anyone else as possible. That way you have a nice little distance so that you can get your bearings straight, call up your horse, get on your horse, and head off to wherever you're going to go. So you have a little bit of a grace period before somebody decides to come along and wreck you. Now, when it comes to respawning after being killed by a griefer, a lot of times it spawns you nearby, not too far away from where you were initially killed by that same griefer, allowing them yet another opportunity to kill you. Now, I realize Rockstar has added a new parlay system, and a lot of people seem to like it. They think it's an improvement. Some people disagree. Whether or not you think the new parlay system is better or worse is entirely your opinion. But whenever you're killed by a griefer or another player for whatever rhyme or reason, I think that it should spawn you a little bit further away from that player. Whether they were killing you for a daily objective, or they were just killing you just for shits and grins, or for whatever rhyme or reason. To protect you, the game should spawn you a little bit further away. Maybe where you're just right outside of their range where they can no longer see your blip on the map. That way, if you are just one of these players that's just minding your own business, hunting, fishing, trotting around, and all of a sudden a griefer comes upon you, because a lot of times the griefer may not actually have a red dot or a purple dot, maybe just a blue dot, and they have yet to start their griefing that day, and you happen to be their first victim. That way, at least it spawns you far enough away from them to where hopefully they can't grief you anymore. So you know, okay, that guy in Santa Ana killed me, and now spawned away from him or her. That way, I can just go the other way and not be bothered by them any further. So, in my opinion, I think that they need to tweak the spawning and respawning in Red Dead Online. The fifth thing they need to add to Red Dead Online is something myself and many others have been wanting. The mini-games from Red Dead Redemption 2. Poker, blackjack, dominoes, five fingers. A lot of people would also like Liar's Dice from Red Dead Redemption to be added to Red Dead Online as well. These mini-games would add more fun and a variety of things for us to do with friends and random players, other than doing the various showdown series or the random events like Fool's Gold. Because some people want to compete in different ways, like across the table in a game of poker or blackjack or dominoes or five fingers or Liar's Dice, for example. Obviously, you wouldn't be using gold for this since there's the gold bars, but we could, compete and, wager, gamble with the in-game cash. And I think that's the reason why Rockstar actually has two separate currencies, so that whenever they do add poker, blackjack, and the other mini games, and I believe they will, hopefully sooner rather than later, that we'll be able to actually gamble with the in-game currency, which will avoid any sort of legal issues that Rockstar may face. Sixth on my list is more butcher locations. Now, I've mentioned this some time ago in a previous video or videos. Sometimes I feel like a parrot or a broken record, but I don't like the fact that we are limited with the places that we can go and turn in hunts and fish, pelts, carcasses, animal body parts for payouts. I think that we need more. Maybe in a armadillo, let's see, McFarland Ranch, as well as, let's see, Van Horn or Ansburg. I realize Van Horn and Ansburg are nearby each other, so at least have one butcher shop in one place or the other. All the way up in the Wapiti Indian Reservation in Ambarino would be awesome, because there really isn't a butcher shop up there. There's also the Trapper locations that still exist in Red Dead Online from Red Dead Redemption 2. So it's quite possible that Red Dead Online will eventually see the Trapper added to the game. I hope so. And if that's the case, then he'll also serve as another place to take fish, as well as animal parts, carcasses, pelts, etc., in order to get payouts. And I would also like to see the ability to hire a camp butcher as well. But I already made a video about how I would like to see Rockstar improve our camps. If you want to check it out, feel free and do so. The more places we have to go and sell everything that we've collected from hunting and fishing, the better. The seventh thing I want to bring up is robberies. Not the big bank heist robberies that people are wanting. I'm talking about more small time, like just the ability to rob bank tellers at the various banks scattered throughout the map, like in Valentine, Rhodes, Blackwater, Saint Denis, etc. You wouldn't get a whole bunch of money from just robbing a teller. Maybe like 10 bucks, 20 bucks, 50 bucks. It would be kind of random. You'd also get a lot of heat on you. You'd get a wanted alert. You'd have Saint Denis police or lawmen after you. You'd have to get away. But it would be just one more thing for you to be able to do in free roam in Red Dead Online. A lot of people want this ability to go and rob the stores. I don't know if robbing the stores is a good idea because it would close down the shops. But at the very least, allow us to rob tellers at the banks. Similar to how we can rob gas stations in Grand Theft Auto Online. Moving over to my eighth item on the list is more events in free roam. A lot of this is PvE, but it could also be qualified as PvE and PvP. I want to see stagecoaches randomly spawn, as well as army caravans, trains. All these, of course, you can go after and rob and get whatever loot happens to be on the stagecoach or whatever happens to be in the wagon that the army is escorting from point A to point B, as well as the trains, probably guarded by Pinkertons. It would be challenging. It would be something that maybe you would have to do with a posse or with a whole bunch of randos. You go in, you fight these NPCs off, and you know, first come, first serve. You open up a chest, whatever you get is yours, and maybe in the end, you know, you may be helping each other, you and these randos, but eventually maybe you're turning on each other, trying to get that loot. It would just be one more interesting activity that would randomly happen throughout Red Dead Online. I'd also like to see legendary animals spawning here and there occasionally, similar to the legendary animals in Red Dead Redemption 2. And maybe something even crazier than just legendary animals. Mythical creatures. Now, we've had a few mythical creatures in Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare. And it would be kind of neat if every now and then one of these was to spawn on the map. Like, for example, you know, Bigfoot, a unicorn, chupacabra, a big giant thunderbird. You get the idea. But I seriously doubt that will happen anytime soon. But at the very least, it would be awesome if we could go after legendary animals and we would get some sort of reward. Maybe the pelt for legendary animal would give us more money than the average pelt or average carcass or average body parts. Or maybe we'd get a belt buckle or an achievement or a rare item. You know, maybe like a bear hat or something. It would be really cool if eventually we got legendary animals spawning randomly throughout the map of Red Dead Online. Ninth on my list is technically two things. Obviously over on Grand Theft Auto Online, but I feel like Rockstar will add these as well eventually to Red Dead Online. The Creator Mode and Rockstar Editor. And I lump these together. It makes sense to lump them together. Like for the Creator Mode, I would love to see user-created races, death matches, LTSs, hopefully better than Gun Rush, along with Capture, Showdown Series modes. Other things, I would love to have some survivals added to Red Dead Online and the ability to create a variety of survival modes. That'd be very PvE, but with the Rockstar Editor, a lot of people really want this too. Because in all honesty, the camera that we carry around in Red Dead Online, that we use to take photos of scenery, our characters, horses, posse, it's not very good. And I think that the ability to take photos courtesy of the Rockstar Editor would give us considerably better quality photos. The 10th and final item on my list is the economy. Stupid. It's a political saying, but anyways, I think we've seen a lot of people in the comment section, Twitter, all over the place in the Red Dead Online community complain about the economy. In other words, the less I say about the economy, the better. We know it has issues. We know that Rockstar needs to fix it. Whether or not they do or not remains to be seen. But hopefully, once again, they're listening to our feedback. By the way, if you want to leave feedback to Rockstar regarding Red Dead Online, I will leave that link below in the description section. So once again, these are the 10 things in no particular order that I would like to see implemented, added, or fixed in order to hopefully improve Red Dead Online. Obviously, the economy, the addition of a creator mode along with the Rockstar editor, various free mode PvE events like stagecoaches, army caravans, trains, legendary animals, mythical creatures, more butcher, trapper stands, as well as the ability to rob bank tellers, mini games, poker, blackjack, tweaking the free roam spawn respawn system so that we don't spawn right in the middle of a posse or nearby the player that just killed us, built-in passive mode for browsing through the catalog as well as fishing, replacing the bounty system with something more like the bounty system we have over in Grand Theft Auto Online, and of course multiple lobbies are most definitely a must. Free aim, friend lobbies, invite lobbies. Yeah, the more lobby types, the merrier. So there you go. That's my list of roughly 10 things that I would like to see changed, improved, tweaked, edited, replaced in order to hopefully improve Red Dead Online. If there's anything on my list that you agree with or disagree with, as long as you're civil, or if there's something else entirely that you would like to see done regarding improving Red Dead Online, feel free and chime in below in the comments section.